first reason I'm no longer a feminist is because I realized I was using feminism pretty much as a cover up for how much I despised the male species. I don't feel that way now, but at the time, I had a lot of bitterness towards men. So I was kind of using feminism as a way to be rebellious. I didn't realize this until I started to observe other women who claimed to be feminists. And I noticed their attitude towards men. And I was like, seems like it's a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of resentment. I don't know if you are really being a feminist for the right reasons.
Women are feminists today and expect.
I am not a feminist. I am not a feminist at all. But I will say a man should fucking pay on a first date and all the rest of the day. But it's a man's job. We birth babies. You know what it does to us? Fuck that. You should pay for fucking dinner.
Russian women don't need feminism, they don't like it, and feminist movement will never spread in Russia. And let me explain you why. So the basics of feminism is women going against men. But in Russia, we already have a shortage of men. Believe me or not, my generation is still recovering after World War II, when all the men left and all the women were left behind with the hard work. Working at the factories, raising kids, standing in line for hours for basic essentials like food, while women in America were basically locked up at the house as housewives. So now imagine that, all the kids, especially boys, that was raised by single mothers, what kind of examples they had in front of them? That the mother have to work, after that come home and take care of kids, husbands. That's why in Russia we have such a problem with the aggressive and demanding men that want women not only go to work, but come home after work and take care of kids and man itself. And now you have the main idea of feminism that women have to work even more. That Russian women want nothing more than a caring husband, providing for the family, helping with chores and raising their kids, which is rarity for Russia. Plus, we still have a shortage of men. For every man, there are 3 to 5 women. And because of our political situation right now, we are still losing men. So that's why instead of women against men movement, we have women coming together to support and save the men that we have. Today, mothers of the soldiers, sisters, wives of the soldiers are main women, and they are protected by the government. In 2018, some activists and bloggers, more of my generation, started pushing this movement into mass. But as you can guess, they got shut down pretty quickly by the government. And now, not even women need it in our country.
Liberal girls, if you want to be oppressed so bad, go ahead and move to the Middle East. If you love socialism so much, go move to Venezuela. If you love communism, go to China. Let's see how you like it. But go ahead and get the fuck out of here before you ruin our country too. Thanks, babe.
Look around. You will see post after post of men being held accountable and villainized, but you won't see the same about women. There is enough room in this world for both genders to have allies and support. Women are not the only victims. Men are victims too. Not all men are bad. Not all men are trash. It's completely fine to support men. Doesn't mean that you don't support women. But men deserve to have women in their corner as well.
I don't think modern day feminists want equality between men and women. I think they want to be men. They don't take any pride in being feminine. They grow their armpit hair out. They say we need to bring down the patriarchy. But who is the patriarchy? Do you think it's men who set all these standards for women to uphold in the beauty world? You're forgetting that other women set the standards too. As a woman, I think armpit hair on women is disgusting and unhygienic. I'm a woman setting that beauty standard, not a man. I also think a woman should pride herself on being a good mother and taking care of her family in the home. Not to say that you can't have a job at the same time, but no one can do what a mother can do, and you should be proud of that, not want to destroy that. Men and women are not the same, and that's beautiful. I'm proud to be a woman. I don't want to be a man. So on behalf of all women who like being women, can you guys stop trying to make us men?
The internalized misogyny. Is it because I don't support when women use their mouths and objectify themselves to climb their way up? Is it because I believe that women have brains and can actually do better? Or is it because I think that we could do a lot better as women than to have this person as vice president? I don't know. Maybe that is misogyny.
Yeah, so feminists will leave me comments saying, as a woman, as a feminist, we don't claim you. As if I want to be claimed by some miserable, bitter, hairy armpitted feminist. Yeah, no thank you, but we all know that I'm an object, and who gets to claim me? A man, of course, who else?
We've created a generation of narcissistic women. And what's happened is the rise of social media and the rise of online dating and the rise of feminism has taught women that they are not to blame for any poor choices. Every poor choice is glamorized. So if you want to be a sex worker, it's great. If you want to post in bikini pictures online, it's fine. If you want to be with it, every poor choice is glamorized, and every internal reflection is seen as gaslighting yourself. So they've even got terms for internal reflection to prevent it happening. And so what will happen is they are trained to not reflect on themselves because we've been told we've been oppressed for so many years. Now it's time to make sure we project. And so we don't take any accountability. And as a result, when we get into relationships, if we don't feel completely soothed all the time, he must be a narcissist. He must be a manipulator. He must be gaslighting. He, rather than I.
The #1 app in the year 2024 is TikTok. And it's no secret that the communist Chinese own the app, which promotes the most toxic ideas in the West like feminism, while in China, Xi banned media and apps from showing feminist or beta male men, and he's ordered the government to promote masculinity. That's why most of these women who speak against feminism got banned or their videos deleted for quote-unquote hate speech. So, here are some who are fighting against the narrative and look good as a bonus. Speaking about looking good, a majority of feminists hate pretty women, as most attractive women can easily get into a long-term relationship, while these dog-faced feminists cry men are sexist for not wanting to date someone who looks like a man. By the way, this influencer is a college golf player, so she has talent as well.
Thing is, I think there is a gender war going on right now. Feminism, third wave feminism, is killing this country. It is taught to avoid saying brainwashed all women to hate men and to fear men. Because at the end of the day, guess what? Capital profits off of my fear. And as a woman, if I fear men, or if I'm afraid, period, then they can profit off of that. There's a gender war because men are the underdogs right now. And I'm not sure if anybody else is seeing this, but men are the ones being told, you're evil, you're bad, you're feared, you're wrong, everything you do is wrong. Go and make money, or don't. We don't care because we don't care about you. And don't show any emotion. The problem is that the majority of young men in the world today are completely invisible. And social media has made them that way. For example, on Instagram, you have extremely beautiful women profiting, and that's great. But the only men who have followers on social media are men with status, men with expensive toys, cars, jets, houses, technology, men who are musicians, who are famous and already rich. Guys, but if you were a normal dude, you don't really exist in the social media world. It's very difficult to get a following. Nobody replies to your DMs, and you don't really matter. You don't have access to women, and it's very difficult to get recognition for your existence. And women are making a rise to the top. Society has over-feminized everything so much, and women are included all the time, which is fabulous, but people don't even realize that we don't have to tear men down to include women. Right, so why is there so much talk about male privilege? Good question. Well, because for the longest time, it was kind of right. You know, the feminist movement first started and we dealt with that. But now the roles are reversed. Women are the ones with privilege. We've been seeing more women in films, in business, and more women in power, which is great. The amount of job listings that I've seen, though, that specifically ask for women only is redonkulous. Our entire effort to hire more women, we've excluded men. But no one is ready to hear that, so.
It is a war against men, and the longest time the women's movement was disguised as a fight for equality, despite most were happy being at home raising a family. Now the whole society, as she said, tears down men to make women supposedly equal. Job listings are now openly stating they want women, which is illegal, but because most attorney generals are too scared of the feminist backlash, so they look the other way. One of the top comments said, "Society has over-feminized everything so much, except for all the women who it has taught to not act feminine. Thanks for this. It's real." Another commenter noted, "Feminism was invented by the Gov. Why? To get women to work and be able to tax the other half of population? How empowering to have to work for 40 years so you can pay the government up to 50% of the revenue you earn." The rest of the comments are men simping for her. Modern women should take note. If they start acting womanly, there will be plenty of men who'd be interested in them.
My body, my choice. That sounds great. Is it cool if I get tan this summer though? Oh, okay. Can I wear braids? Are braids okay? No? No. What about this mask that I'm forced to wear on my body? Is that, oh, that's not my choice? Okay. So, very selective to only killing human beings. Gotcha.
When she asked about getting tans, it's because feminists now claim that a white person is cultural appropriating if they get a tan. Same thing with braids. There's a lot of Celtic traditions of women getting braids, but the my body, my choice feminists don't have history and they want to control other women if it offends someone. And lastly, she points out that it's crazy how the feminists were the biggest supporters of the scamdemic. The obese my body, my choice crowd was the biggest demographic ordering other people to wear a mask or stay inside.
Okay, I just want to point out that there is nothing wrong with being dependent on someone you love for something. Because the fact of the matter is that as human beings, we can't do it all on our own. I don't care how much of a baddie you think you are and how independent you may be, you are dependent on someone for something. Right now in this phase of my life, I am mostly dependent on my husband for finances, and my husband is mostly dependent on me to take care of our children, and we're both dependent on God to give us life every day. We work together and depend on each other for different things, and in doing so, we are able to create a life that we wouldn't be able to have on our own. And that is what marriage is, and that is what family is, and it is wonderful, and it's not something to be embarrassed of or to be ashamed of. It doesn't make you weak. I'm so happy that I have someone that I can count on, someone who can help me and someone who I can help, and we can get through life together. There's nothing weak and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Men aren't running around on social media claiming they can run a business and be a mom too. No, they want a wife to stay at home and raise the kids, make the meals and clean because it's impossible to do it all. Businesses themselves are collaborations of a group of people all dividing the work to become as efficient as possible with the goal to turn out a profit. Check in on these single moms on social media. None of them are happy. They constantly complain how hard it is being a mom, yet at the same time flaunt they're strong and independent. Yet they date because they secretly want to find a simp to help with the financial burden of raising kids and the chores around the house.
What is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure?
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. It is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude.
George Lucas would never. You want to know the problem with all of these new era Star Wars female directors? It fails to account for the fact that you already had strong female characters everywhere in Star Wars, and men and women alike loved them. Princess Leia, iconic. Ahsoka Tano, legend. Legend. Ahsoka Tano doesn't need to make men feel uncomfortable. She's just a badass by herself. That's it. No other agenda. or ulterior motive. Padme, hello, didn't make men feel uncomfortable, except maybe a sexual awakening because she was freaking gorgeous, but also a badass. I don't understand the angle, the MO that Disney is trying to go for here, because A, you're not going to retain your original audience for Star Wars, but B, who is going to watch this garbage?
Why don't feminists make up their own fictional stories instead of trying to make the ones men have made more feminist? And I guess Disney wants another massive tax write-off because no one is going to watch this crap. It looks like the director's personal mission is to make the men who rejected her feel uncomfortable, than actually making a good film. Top commenter said, "Does Disney even understand they're losing people across the whole board? I guess Disney won't care until the whole company goes bankrupt. If you're a father, the very least you can do is not support Disney or allow your kids to go to Disney World. Go hunting with your sons. Teach them some survival skills. Why can't Star Wars just be enjoyed by everyone?" J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of The Lord of the Rings, once said, "Evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt and ruin what good forces have invented or made. Feminism is a tool to destroy society, and these hags are useful idiots."
Cancel culture has gone too far. As of today, Victoria's Secret angels are canceled. Hot chicks who work out and take care of themselves and eat well, that's offensive now. And I'll tell you why this one really pisses me off, other than the fact that, like, I've aspired to be as confident as those women my entire life. Like, I would look at them and be like, I want to be able to strut around in my underwear and some giant wings and be like, I'm here, bitch. Like, that's confidence. It's the nonsense of it. You don't have to be inclusive when you're the best. We don't go watch sports games to watch everyone be inclusive. Here's Joe's dad on first, Mike's mom's on second. We're being inclusive. We want to see the best in humanity. We want to aspire to something. And if we're going to play silly logic, as seems to be happening, why, if everybody is beautiful, are those girls' bodies not beautiful? R.I.P. Victoria's Secret.
Just like men aspire to be jacked like bodybuilders, hence why they go to the gym. For the longest time, women aspired to be fit and thin, until feminism took over the media. Not everyone can or should be a model, and the same as for athletes, rocket scientist, or doctor. Telling people white lies to not hurt their feelings does more harm than good because it sets them up for failure in life.
All right, queens, you guys have been asking for this one. 5 traits that all men want in their woman. Here we go. Number 1, physical attraction. If you want to know one thing about men, it's this. They are absolutely visual creatures. I cannot stress that enough. A man of quality is going to want a woman who takes pride in her physical appearance. She doesn't necessarily have to be the most beautiful woman in the room, but she is going to be a woman that understands the importance of how she presents herself to the world. Number 2, cooperation. And this one is so simple. If you want a man that's a natural leader, you're going to have to know how to cooperate. He's going to want to see if you can be a partner, if you can be a team player. He's not going to want to fight with you over every single little thing. If you are stubborn, combative, closed-minded, and negative, a man of quality is going to find that extremely unattractive. A lot of us women get into the bad habit of making everything a battle. And if you want a man who is high quality, he is going to have way bigger things on his mind, like running your family in the right direction. He's not going to want to argue with you over what you are going to have for dinner. Number 3, to feel wanted. Don't get me wrong. He wants you to be fully yoked. He wants you to have a life. He wants you to have all of those things. And you can be independent. You can be a boss woman, but just make sure that you're operating in that feminine energy that makes a man feel wanted. He's going to love the fact that you have passions and interests in a life outside of him. But you have to remember that a man's natural state is to be a provider and to be a protector. And he's going to want a woman that makes him feel like he has room to do that in her life. Number 4, and y'all are not going to like this one. Accountability. Yeah. Harsh truth. We don't have any problem telling a man the 152 ways that they are wrong. But when the tables turn and it's our turn to be accountable, a high-quality man is going to want to see that you know how to do that. Can you apologize? Can you hold yourself accountable? For some reason, for us women, it's so hard to acknowledge when we're wrong and to say that we're sorry. But a high-quality man is going to want to see that you can do that. It goes back to being a good partner. And number 5, last but not least, I hint at this one all the time, so I'm going to speak on it now, feminine energy. I know for some reason whenever people talk about masculine energy versus feminine energy, it gets so controversial, and I really don't understand why that is. It's honestly very simple. Your grace, your class, your poise, your confidence, your nurturing, compassionate energy. If he's really looking for a wife, he's going to want to see a woman who can bring the qualities to the relationship that he naturally as a man cannot. Now here's the thing, and this message goes to men and women. It is not fair to go out into the dating market with a full list of all of the things that you need in a partner when you don't really know the first thing about what your partner is going to need from you. Relationships are a two-way street. And if you want to find and build a relationship that lasts the test of time, you're going to have to care about your partner's happiness and their needs just as much as your own.
All these thoughts claim they want a high-value man but don't want to do the work to qualify for him, which includes stay a virgin till marriage. Being married to a man who respects himself and is successful doesn't mean these thoughts are gonna get a free lifetime vacation. They're gonna have to cook 3 meals from scratch at least 6 days per week for the whole family. To these boss bitches, that's slavery, but they have no problem being personal chef for a rich family, 7 days per week for $50K per year.
I say this with my chest, there are far more women struggling to find love in relationships than men. Yes, I agree, bad men exist, but these men are created, not born. And I'll tell you what's causing this: toxic feminism. What feminism does is simultaneously teach women to detest masculine traits in men, but cultivate them in themselves. So for instance, a man that cheats is trash, but a woman who cheats is a bad bitch. Or a man that sexualizes women is misogynistic, but a woman should sell her nudes online and she's a bad bitch. But the biggest problem with feminism is that it makes women reject their feminine traits. So they no longer want to be loyal or nurturing. As a result, we're breeding a generation of men who no longer aspire to provide, protect, and most importantly, respect women because they can access them and replace them. So yes, men are struggling to find love, but it might be because this generation of women is not what they want.
Why do feminists sell their nudes in the first place? Thought they don't need no man to make money, and that they want men to stop sexualizing them. All these feminists talk about breaking the glass ceiling only for women to revert back to one of the oldest professions and become digital strippers, which needs no degree. Top commenter said, "The women attempting to crucify this lady in the comment section are only proving her point. They won't address your points, only deflect and shame. Feminists will spend more time arguing with people than actually improving themselves." A jealous feminist comments, "Pick me, pick me." She's already married, so she's picked. Women know their worth and will no longer settle for low-quality men who are not deserving of their loyal and nurturing. That's the problem. Modern women think they're too good for a regular relationship with a great guy, which is why most feminists will die alone.
Yeah, you're right. It was internalized misogyny that made women want to stay at home and care for their children instead of taking on men's responsibilities. And never mind the fact that for poor women, there never was an option to stay at home. They had to work to survive. But really, men had it so good at the beginning of the 1900s. They could work 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, in amazing sanitary conditions, and they got drafted. Amazing opportunities, really.
Man's world, so to speak, pussy you sour. Never giving credit where it's due, cause you don't like pussy in power. Venom.
You need to leave!
I mean a beatsy bruiser. Dang, little mama, you is such a loser. Okay, you is such a loser. Dang, little mama, you is such a loser.
If you still think that the entertainment industry is not trying to indoctrinate your kids, take a look at this clip from Disney Plus's new show, Diary of a Future President.
Let's run through why can't feminism happen already.
Some would say I have it all. An orange grove and a family. But they don't know what I really crave is sweet equality.
And it it doesn't stop there. The female characters in the show replace words like hero and history with shiro and herstory, and it's no longer oh my god, they say oh my goddess. This goes to show that the forefront of the cultural battle we're experiencing right now is actually children, and there's an entire group of people that is willing to indoctrinate them through children's programming, teaching young women that they are oppressed and living in a patriarchy where they cannot be successful.
You know, some women get pissed off that I do men's rights videos, but let me fucking tell you why. I'm not going to say who this person is, but someone very, very, very close to me. His wife just told him last night that she was leaving him. Now, this guy is the best guy. He would give the shirt off his back to anyone. He's always been the primary parent to their daughter so that she could do whatever she wanted to do. He gave her the absolute world. Whereas they've been together for 9 years and his family knows nothing about this woman. It's the most one-sided relationship I've ever seen in my life. And now she's leaving with absolutely no explanation other than to gaslight him into thinking that he didn't do enough. When in reality, she used him to build her confidence back up and then left. I saw him yesterday and I didn't know that person. He's so broken. And that is why I fight for men's rights. Tell me that men aren't abused.
There's some men that complain or dismiss these women who speak out against feminism for whatever reason, be it. They're looking for attention, they're desperate, etc. And sure, those may be true, but who cares? It's the message that's important, not the messenger. Yes, maybe some of these women truly care about these issues because they see the injustice in this world or have sons, brothers, and fathers that can be negatively affected by feminism and gynocentric dictatorship. Would you rather have them say nothing instead and act like society isn't falling apart? The woman talking about her guy friend who got shafted could have stepped in sooner, but at least she's speaking out, so more men are aware that being a captain save-a-hoe won't make people see them as a hero, but a fool or a simp. So please, if you come across content of women speaking out against feminism, as much as it can be coming from a bad place, it's promoting something positive, so like it, comment words of encouragement, not simp to help turn the tide.
Girls with no fathers in the home have lower self-esteem. Okay, fine, that sucks, but also women with low self-esteem are more promiscuous. No father families more likely to be victims of abuse, especially with single mothers. The more opportunities a child has to interact with biological father, the less likely they are to commit a crime or have contact with the juvenile justice system. Okay, another way to say that is men and women who are incarcerated, the population of the prisons mostly encompass fatherless homes. Now, here's something that no one else has mentioned, which I think is cool, and I don't really say this eloquently. If a man and wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same statistical chance as children raised by just their father. So if we want to keep children, adults, out of prison, mother, father, or just father. Well, we don't want to hear just father, so let's try to keep the families intact. I think that just seems better.
This must be hard, especially for a feminist to hear that children raised by single dads not just do way better than single moms, but almost just as good as a two-parent household. So when feminists claim they can replace men, it's proven a feminist can be replaced by nothing and society is better off. The studies about single fathers versus single mothers also prove that girls from a single mother's home are more likely to become sluts. Every man can think of an easy lay or a hoe as a female with daddy issues, most notably the lack of a daddy. Top-rated comment with over 5,000 likes said, "The system needs to stop rewarding single mothers. The gynocentric system is built on single mothers and the broken home, otherwise it would lose its power." As a former single dad, I thank you. That was a rough spot in my life, raising 2 young girls alone. I got looks, constantly challenged, treated like crap at school functions, but I didn't back down. I butted back, kicked hard, and aged horribly. But I now have 2 girls who are a part of society that are strong, hardworking, and have healthy relationships. Single dads aren't single by choice. They're forced to be single, yet they're not begging for donations or crying a pity party while claiming they're independent. They do what's needed to raise the kids. Sadly, it sounds like you raised somewhat modern women, but they're in healthy relationships, which is better than daughters from most single mom homes, who end up pregnant already by a felon wanted in another state or do OnlyFans. We as a culture need to start giving the single moms the bad looks, like feminists do to single dads. A cop commented, worked for the Cleveland Police Department 27 years and being raised by a single mother is a common denominator for men in jail or prison. How ironic that the majority of toxic men that they complain about are the ones that feminists themselves raise. That's why there's a reason why there's no successful feminist society.
So my other brother Ben has a construction company, and last week I think it rained like all day on Tuesday or something like that. Point is, so I called him up and I was like, hey, do you have any work for me? Like, I kind of feel like working. And he was like, yeah, you can help with, I think it was like free floating flooring. Either way, I was helping with flooring like all day. So you're like hunched over and like you're getting up and down. My back was killing me, and like by the end of the day, my knees were like cracking. And the day just drug on so much. And it just like made me so appreciative of men, because like there are so many females that are just like, oh, I'm a grown independent woman, I don't need no man. And it's like, for me, like I joke about all the time because I am independent, I pay all my own bills, I take care of myself, etc. But like guys are so underrated today, I feel like, and it's just sad because they are freaking awesome. So like I really appreciate guys and just all the hard work and stuff that they can do that females just can't.
The only time modern women actually do real labor-intensive work is when they have to do community service for a DUI. Other than that, they don't know what it means to make a real honest buck. Especially today, where they can sell their soul by spreading their legs on the internet and make hundreds of thousands of dollars just for existing. So of course, they're gonna look down on the blue-collar workers or the manual laborers which society is built on. It's no wonder why this lady in the video, despite claiming to be independent, has a newfound respect for men after she laid down wooden floors. Sadly, men, instead of praising what she said, are leaving simp comments. One guy commented, "That's not completely true. I'm 21 and male. I'm pretty healthy and I don't think I could make it in landscaping at all." Even men don't want to do this type of work. That's why it's usually part of their career or success journey to start at the bottom and build a better future. A man commented, "I did some plumbing, electrical, drywall, etc. in the house when I was married. I don't think she appreciated me, but expected me to do those things." The key word was, as in past tense. If a woman doesn't even say thank you for opening the door for her, she's getting kicked to the curb. Another guy commented, "I had to show this to my girlfriend so she can understand and believe, because she doesn't think I work hard. By the way, she can't even lift 20 pounds. That's the wrong girlfriend then. And the way for her to understand is by giving her an ultimatum. Either do the hard work for one day or leave. Because she's going to be looking for someone with a higher status job or a harder perceived job." The TikTok poster wrote, "Ready for the feminist comments. Hashtag men, hard work, for you, appreciation post, feminist, not a feminist, do pack son?" But no feminists showed up in the comment section to debate the issue. They were oddly quiet about this. Why is that? Why aren't they fighting for more women to become sewage cleaners? Thought they wanted to break the glass ceilings.
Let me ask you a question. What would our world look like without sons, brothers, fathers, husbands, and uncles? It has taken raising sons for me to realize how toxic society can be towards men. Oh, the good ones are taken. The future is female, or men need to behave, are constantly tossed around, cloaked in feminism or equality. But why is this okay? Simply being female doesn't make you better than a man. Men do not deserve to bear the brunt of another man's actions, any more than a female. Men do not deserve to be judged by their gender, just like women. The future is female doesn't even make any sense. I'm blessed to have had quite a few good ones in my life, role models I know my sons will learn from, but that's not to say I haven't known a few bad apples. I just don't allow those experiences to define half of the human race. If you think along the lines of men need to behave, the future is female, or the good ones are taken, maybe ask yourself why you deserve one of the good ones when you make no room for positive masculinity.
Those feminists who love to say the future is female, why not go find an island and build an all-female society or a female-led society from the ground up? But you can't take the simps with you, as you gotta be strong and independent. Besides, it's not like you're gonna screw them anyway. We can give you Cuba, where there's plenty of resources to build a society. Let's see how you do in 100 years. One commenter said, "Why you make no room for positive masculinity?" Wow, that is powerful. Thank you. Yes, there are bad apples everywhere, including W men. Because positive masculinity, or simply masculinity, has standards and demands order in the household. You wouldn't put up with these feminists going out on girls' night or to dressing like a stripper in public. They're complaining where's the good men but don't seem to notice. Good men are around good people and good things, so because good men aren't around them, they need to connect the dots, which means by process of elimination, they themselves aren't good. If every male interaction these feminists have is negative, maybe it's not the men but them with the issues. The good ones are normally the ones taken advantage of. That's why the red pill, manosphere, MGTOW passport movement is so important to stop good men from doing good things for modern women as a whole. Someone made a great point. How blind do you have to be and how much empathy do you lack when it takes for something to directly affect your loved ones before you see injustice? These feminists raising sons are the ones that are going to have the biggest regret in life when their sons get ensnared by their own feminist ideology traps. At the very least, they're most likely to raise simps who will get taken advantage of. They will most likely die incels while the sons of toxic masculine men will reproduce and the feminists as a whole will cut themselves out of the whole gene pool, thus raising the average IQ above room temperature. No empathy for someone who only realizes the truth once it's slapped them in the face. Good luck raising your sons.
This right here is what the modern day feminism has done to the family unit. This feminist movement has completely destroyed the value of a beautiful woman. We're in a world where when men call women beautiful, they're called simps. When a woman actually speaks truth and has half a brain, she's called a pick-me. It's just what a time to be alive. You know, it used to be all the good ones are taken, but now it is all the good ones are single at home and not playing the game anymore. Marriage used to be a covenant made before God, a unity between two people becoming one person. And now it's just a business contract. It's a way to step up in the world. And there's too many women out here, beautiful women, and the prettier we are, the more feminist they seem to be. But a lot of men don't even want to take the time to get to know a beautiful woman. They won't even approach her because they think that she's going to be a stuck-up biatch, you know? Too many women out here have used men as a meal ticket and using men for their money and their status. And those same women also want to be treated like queens. And a man will call her beautiful, and she'll be like, you know, that entitled feminist attitude of, yeah, well, of course I am. It's disgusting. And those types of women don't deserve to be treated like queens. They deserve to be treated like peasants because they're out there just using people. There's men out here that are just using women to get what they want, and then they discard them. They go on social media, they go on dating websites, and they just use them like they're toys. And so women, we have our walls built up so high that God himself can't get over them. And our modern day culture has, at least in the Western culture in the States, I don't know what's happening in other countries, but here in America, you know, we've completely forgotten what marriage is all about and what a beautiful woman can bring, the value of having a woman behind you and supporting you and loving you, because too many women are out here breathing in this toxicity on social media. And if I'm the only person that's bringing in a different perspective, if I'm the only person today that can snap you back into reality, then all of this will be worth it. But I'm just making these videos to bring a different perspective, because there's just this ocean of toxicities, of misinformation swimming around, and self-entitlement. We're in a time of this narcissistic attitude. We all have it. It's just like, it's all about me and what makes me happy and me. And however, that's good. It's good to care about yourself and love yourself and take care of yourself and self-love and all that stuff. You know, that's very important. But at the same time, we can't sit there and hate men. You know, being a white male in 2023, God bless them, man. They can't win. And the irony of all this coming from somebody with a website, you know, people have already tried to discredit my voice because I have a website, but I don't know, we'll get there another day. I don't hold my value in my sex appeal and my body. That's just, this is my vessel and this is what I occupy, but, and it makes me some money, so that's cool. But I don't know. I don't think I'm that great. I think I'm like a 6, a solid 7 on a good day. But what am I talking about? Anyway, yeah, the irony of this coming from all this stuff, marriage stuff coming from someone like me is really funny. But I think I have a valuable perspective and a good hold of reality. So yeah, if I'm just the only person today telling you
something different, then so be it. But if you're married and you're here on my page, I just encourage you to protect that, and you've got something special, and protect it, because this modern day is trying to destroy the families, and it's more lucrative for our society to divorce and to break up families. So just keep that in mind and protect what you have. If you're single and you're on my page, stay strong, stay healthy, and don't be just protect your heart, and don't let just anybody break your heart, because you got to save that for someone special. I gotta believe, I can't lose hope, and I have to believe that there is a man out there, and I pray for him daily. But if there's got to be a man out there that thinks the way that I do and holds value in marriage the way that I do. If I think it, then I know it's out there. And people will tell me like, oh, good luck, you're looking for perfection. Ain't nobody looking for perfection out here, but if the shoe fits, I'll wear it. But I'm looking for somebody with the same morals and values as me. And unfortunately, it used to be a good thing, but unfortunately, I was raised on very traditional old school values. I come from a Southern Baptist family, so I just don't really fit in around here. I don't know. Anyway, I could talk about this for days and days, and so I just got to wrap it up here. But I just want to encourage you, protect your heart. Everything we do flows from it. And if you're married out there, just protect what you have. Protect your love, because there are people out here that want to destroy it. Misery loves company, huh? Anyway, stay healthy out there.
She said everything that one could say. Although it sounds like she has an OnlyFans, and at the same time she claims to be traditional and want a traditional godly man. Good luck to her on that. I could see some 50-year-old man who already had kids, a divorce, and vasectomy making her a trophy girlfriend. The main point I'm trying to make is, who cares where the anti-feminism comes from, as long as it's being made.
Hello, ma'am. Did you enjoy your meal? Oh, yeah, it was great. That'll be $56.99. What? I have to pay? Of course. That's a pretty natural consequence of eating at a restaurant. Well, I can't afford that. Besides, it's my money, and it's my choice how I choose to spend it. Yeah, you're right. It was your choice to walk into this restaurant, and then it was your choice to order this expensive meal. Your choice is over now. Now it's time to pay up. I can't believe you're forcing people to buy the food at your restaurant. Nobody forced you to come into this restaurant. You know that it costs money to eat at restaurants. I don't know why we're acting like we were born yesterday. Actions have consequences. That will be $56.99. This is a violation of my human rights. My money, my choice.
Okay, so if y'all are gonna call women birthing people, are you gonna call men people fertilizers? Just wondering.
What I like to compare it to is love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you have asked, how did you become the VP of the United States of America? And it's easy. I compared it to a verse, Ephesians 3:14. For this reason, I kneel. Hey, Willie. Hey, Montel. Hey, Daddy. Thank you, Jesus.
Please enlighten me, what is feminism? Because feminism as I see it today definitely has nothing to do with equality. No, because modern day feminism is about shout your abortion, let's hate all men for no reason, and somehow having hairy armpits and being sexually promiscuous is now an example of female empowerment. And let's not forget the fact that so-called feminists love to bully and condemn women who disagree with them. Because it's believe all women and girls supporting girls unless she dares to disagree.
I'm not a feminist. I can see men and I don't immediately feel threatened. I'm not a feminist. And then people ask me if I'm actually a woman. I'm not a feminist. I can wear dresses and feel pretty. I'm not a feminist. Thank you. I'm not a feminist. I don't hate children. I'm not a feminist. I would watch this video and I wouldn't be offended. I'm not a feminist. I can actually cook.
More women are openly pushing back against the feminist dogma, which is all over social media. The best ones, as you saw, used humor and mocked it, which drives the feminists even crazier. Because when a woman criticizes the agenda, they can't call her a sexist or a misogynist or any other label the cult uses to silence anyone who speaks out against it. The feminist small brain short circuits when they get made fun of, making it even more entertaining. Just like the lady in the video who drew off the ire of the Jezebels. Now, if she really wasn't a feminist, she'd be in a long-term relationship or marriage, but you can't expect stay-at-home moms who are too busy catering to their husbands or raising a family to also be on social media fighting feminism. Traditional men don't want their women to be on social media, so someone has to do it. Let's see what the comments say. Top comment with 37,000 likes claims, "I'm not a feminist. I don't know what feminism is." That's what feminists say when women rebuttal them. They claim these women don't know what feminism is. They project because they themselves don't know that the man-hating women who birthed the feminist agenda were anti-nuclear family and outright communists. A simp comments, "I'm not a feminist, I'm an idiot." More like the simps and male feminist allies are the idiots. They're fighting for their own destruction so they can get laid. There's nothing sadder than a simp trying to appease the ugliest demographic of women. Another comment with 76,000 likes, "You're definitely not a feminist, because you don't know what it means." According to a peer-reviewed study, with citations, this is the goal of feminism, a pawn to a fascist agenda. In the 1970s, what Marx and the Engels satirized as the most infamous proposal of the communists, the abolition of the family, becomes the most scandalous demand of feminists. Ever since then, numerous US feminists have tried to walk it back. Another feminist comment, "I'm not a feminist, I crave male validation and want them all to pick me." Majority of feminists cry themselves to sleep for the rest of their lives, single, because no man of value that they truly respect will ever commit to them.
This is so wrong for so many reasons. It's not just that they've both been playing professional basketball for...
I was just gonna keep scrolling, but then I saw your description. You said not to come at you with the whole the NBA makes more money. But that's literally how it works. But to prove to you that this isn't sexism, I will give you an example involving two men. This is Robert Downey Jr., he plays Iron Man, we all know this. He, for many, many years, was the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he made a lot of money while he did it. This is Stephen Amell. He plays the Green Arrow on the CW. He also was basically the face of his own superhero franchise. CW had a lot of TV shows and they all shared the same universe, and it was actually called the Arrowverse, so you know he was the face of it. Guess who made more money? Robert did, because the MCU was much more profitable than the Arrowverse was. It has a bigger audience, it's on a bigger scale. Your paycheck is going to reflect the profit of the company you're working for. They can't pay you money they don't have.
And to add to that, the whole WNBA is funded by the NBA, meaning without the men's players' money, which they have no say where it goes, the WNBA would have closed the same year it started. As for the 20 plus years it's been in business, it has never been profitable. Top comment states, "The WNBA literally loses money, LOL." And someone responded to it, "The NBA loses $8 million a year so the WNBA can play." That extra $8 million could pay another bench warmer per NBA team. But that opportunity to be on an NBA team vanished so entitled women can play a level of basketball that's worse than male high school teams. Another commenter points out, the players of the WNBA actually get paid a higher percentage of the profits than the players of the NBA. This is one of the reasons why the WNBA never turned out a profit, because these women demand more money despite playing in empty Division II basketball arenas. A woman finally commented, "I never saw anyone wearing a WNBA shirt, hat, or any merch. I don't know anyone that has even gone to a game. That's not the case with the NBA." Ironically, the biggest fans of the WNBA are not women, especially the feminists who cry about equal pay, but older men, like fathers who have daughters playing basketball. Before Kobe died, he was helping his daughter become a WNBA player, which would have brought more attention to the game. But feminists tried to tear down his historic career by supporting a false accusation.
Oh, yeah. No, I love how masculine my husband is, and he just makes all the decisions. And, you know, women are so indecisive. Even, like, I will second guess every stupid decision I make, whether it's like, what should I eat? It's like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll have that. It's so stupid. And he just makes the decisions. It makes it so much better. And even if I disagree with it, it's like, no, you vowed to submit to me, so you're going to trust my decisions. And I've honestly never been happier and more fulfilled. I haven't eaten meat since I was like 8, and he forces me to eat meat. I just find it disgusting. And so he told me the other day, he's like, you've had meat a couple of times, but like, I don't want you just to eat meat sometimes. You're going to love meat because it's good for you.
And deep down, I'm like, ugh, like that's scary to me. But he's like, it's food, get over it. And you're growing my baby inside of you. So I want you to be healthy for our baby.
Not everyone who doesn't eat meat are raging vegans. Some people legitimately don't like meat and can't stomach it. However, meat is one of the best forms of nutrition a person can get. And she understands her baby needs that nutrition because people cannot get it from only fruits and vegetables. Hence why vegans look malnourished and go crazy. There are plenty of kids starving to death because their vegan feminist mom refused to give them meat. As a person would need to eat theoretically much more plants to get a close nutritional value from meat. This is why herbivores are fat and eat all day. It's oversimplified, so you get the point. Top comment says, I can agree with this. I was a radical vegan for 5 years until I met my current partner and we're having a baby. He said the same thing about you're growing our baby inside of you. I want you to eat meat. I respect how your husband takes charge of the decisions but takes such good care of you. It's easier to have one person making the decisions. That's why companies have one CEO. Another woman agrees. Truth. I'm so indecisive. Yes, let the man lead. Women respond positively to dominance. It's just that most men aren't masculine enough to lay down the law, or they pick feral women, or both.
Something that women say to me all the time. Why don't you make your husband a sandwich? Okay. Is he hungry? Does he want a sandwich? Like, did he say something? I make my husband food. The last 4 nights, I made my husband dinner. Like, I don't understand this weird maker. Like, they're trying to shame women for taking care of their families. Like, that is another element of feminism that I cannot stand. It's an attack on family and these things that work. It works. Right. Men are biologically unable to have children. So the aspiration to climb a ladder forever, to wake up every single day and not have to worry about being pregnant for 9 months, I mean, that makes sense. We're different creatures, you know?
I think that's like a troll though. No, it's like all you're good for is like, yo, make me something to eat.
No, that whole concept came from rabid feminists. Like there was something wrong with being in the kitchen, right?
Oh, okay.
And this was sort of this push of women get out of the home and go to work, which has made so many women miserable. So many women miserable.
Besides calling non-feminists pick-me's, this is one of the most common insults feminists use. As if a woman who took a commitment to take care of her man is a bad thing or degrades her. Let's do the math. A stay-at-home wife makes sandwich for her man, which takes less than 10 minutes, is a much better deal than having to work an 8-hour day. These feminists, when diminishing stay-at-home wives, usually leave out the part where the man took an oath to take on the financial burden of working a hard, tough job and endure the stress, which often shortens his life. Those coal miners who power the Teslas feminists love to drive live to their mid-50s because they usually die of lung cancer after spending over 20 years working 5 days a week underground. Top commenter says, I love cooking food for my husband and kids. Cooking 3 times a day is 3 hours at most, compared to working 8 hours. A feminist finally comments, probably because that statement is extremely common for men to say to women to belittle them. That's why feminists use that reference. So, feminists use the same insult that belittles women on other women? Aren't they supposed to be pro-women? Make it make sense. A gay man comments, her poor baby is going to be groomed and indoctrinated into becoming a Christian Republican from the day it's born. But watch her attack trans youth. That's pure projection. The LGBTQ+ feminist youth are the most indoctrinated kids out there. They can live in the city that has shit on the streets and will still vote for feminism.
How does what a trans person does have any negative impact on your life? It doesn't move on, spread love. See, it shouldn't. I don't have issues with individual people unless they bring an issue before me and make me deal with it. What I do have an issue with is an apparent agenda fixated on singling out children and speaking to them about sexuality and gender identity without their parents' consent or awareness, as well as the invasion of privacy and safety that we're seeing women have to go through and deal with in order to appease the emotions and feelings of a very specific group of people. And this group of people is an even more specific group of men. Just to clear that up. I never had an issue with the transgender community until male police officers were allowed to identify as women and then strip search females. Or full-grown post-puberty men were allowed to just drop their pants in a women's college locker room and walk around like it was just another Tuesday. Or children were encouraged to join an after-school art club that actually turned out to be an opportunity for a man dressed as a woman to talk to these children without boundaries and encourage these kids to keep their secret from their parents. And it took a year for parents to figure out that this was not an art club.
It's weird how feminist ideologies has led to the most vulnerable part of society, women and children getting violated by the peoples feminists claim to be fighting against. Feminism attracts and fosters the societal rejects. Think of it as the avengers of losers, because a matriarchal society doesn't know how to keep order and civility. It'll just appease and foster to keep the peace, which works short term. What type of coward would pretend to be a woman to beat women in sports? Someone raised by feminists, who was given a participation trophy when they failed to beat men. The worst degenerates of society, predators, now have cover because of feminism to prey on kids, because not only are there more single moms, but also because feminists don't believe in biology. They claim it's just a social construct, meaning anyone can claim anything. One of the top comments said, "The trans community wants to use my children as emotional support animals to coddle their delusions. Wouldn't have said anything if they would back off." That's the very least of what they want with kids. Another comment said, "How did we go from all men are dangerous to let's let people with dicks into women's bathrooms and locker rooms? Because feminists want to be men." A chick responded to the comment, "How did we go from the guy at the gym is ogling me to the guy in the locker room can get naked in front of underage girls? It's nuts." Because of feminism. Former feminist commented, "You do you, just leave my kids alone. I was an advocate for a long time until they started trying to force it on my kids." That was the concept in Nazi Germany. They came for people I didn't like. I didn't say anything because I didn't like them. Then they came for my neighbor and I kept quiet because it wasn't me. And then they came for me when there was no one else left to defend me.
If you hate playing make-believe, I hope you don't have any plans to visit Ireland soon. They've created an anti-hate speech bill that would throw you in prison for up to 5 years if you're caught misgendering someone. This is known as the Criminal Justice Incitement to Violence or Hatred and Hate Offences Bill 2022, and Irish Parliament has received 110 votes for it and only 14 votes against it. Section 7 of the bill specifically makes it a criminal offense for someone to communicate anything in a public place that could be construed as inciting violence or hatred against someone with gender dysphoria. We've got Section 10 of the bill that makes it illegal to possess material that is likely to incite violence or hatred against a person or a group of persons. Just by having literature, articles, or podcasts that in any way questions the LGBTQ agenda, that's strictly prohibited, and you're going to jail. Ireland today, but America tomorrow. Do you see how quickly this is happening? Have you walked into a Target lately? We cannot let a bill like this pass in our country. I'm asking you to stop standing on the sidelines and get loud, get obnoxious. We don't have much time left.
When feminism has taken over most of society, it leads to a dictatorship. This is why it's important for women to speak out against it, because the new generation are raised by single moms and social media. They're the most alien to human experience so far. Only cyborgs and transhumanists will be less human. If all they see are raging feminists and their deadbeat moms, if they're females, they'll model their behavior after those nuts. And if they're male, they'll most likely learn how to simp and placate to women. One of the top comments, "What the fruck is happening?" Women voting, that's what's happening. Feminism taking over society. Why is this happening all over the Western world at the same time? Something sinister is orchestrating this. Is an agenda which was implemented by the feminist foot soldiers. The only country that can stand in the way of this is America, which has the First Amendment and, more importantly, armed citizens. This is why feminists are actually trying to disarm Americans. Another commenter points out, most of the woke big tech companies bank their money in Ireland as a tax haven. The price they paid is freedom. A lot of companies use Ireland as a tax loophole if they can open up an office there. And that's the exact reason why corporations push feminism, not just to increase the supply of the labor pool so they can pay less per worker, but also because they can control people easier. A nuclear family unit is more durable than a single person, especially single moms who have to do everything just to squeak by. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.